Hey everyone, it's Teddy on tour with Touring Tennis. Today we're in Charleston, South Carolina. Today we're here for the 2025 Credit One Charleston Open, held every year since 1973, making it the oldest professional all-women's tournament in North America. It's also the only WTA tournament to be held on green clay, and it's won WTA 500 Tournament of the Year 3 times in a row. Our expectations could not be higher. Let's go check it out. This is a WTA 500 event held on Daniel Island in Charleston, South Carolina. This event is said to mark a transitional phase in the calendar for the WTA. It happens after the quick, hard courts of Miami and Indian Wells, but before the traditional slippery red clay. Players need to physically adjust to the stability of the new surface. The green clay, called hard true clay, is faster than red clay. It limits sliding and doesn't absorb powerful shots as much. It used to be held on Hilton Head Island, also in South Carolina, but it moved to Daniel Island in 2001. So this year marks the 25th anniversary of their move to Daniel Island. This year, some of the biggest stars are playing. We have Jessica Pegula, ranked number 4, Madison Keys at 5, Emma Navarro, ranked number 8, Qinwen Zhang at number 9, and we also have some other notables, including last year's winner, Danielle Collins, and Daria Kasatkina, who will be playing under the Australian flag for the first time. We also now have electronic line calling. It's the first clay tournament to do so and the first year they're doing it. In terms of courts, you have 3 primary courts where matches are held, and the rest are practice courts. You have court 3, you have court 2, also called Althea Gibson, and then, of course, you have Credit One Stadium where the main court is. Just hopped on to an outside court, match is about to start. Got some ice cream. So we're outside one of the outside courts. It was really cool. We were about a row behind where the players' benches were. One thing we sort of knew coming in was the fact that this is the first clay tournament that they're implementing electric line calling. So you can actually hear the same faults and the outs calls from, say, Wimbledon or the US Open. So that's been really cool to see, and yeah, having a great time so far. At some point during this day, I was actually able to hop onto a court and feel the surface for a little bit. The surface is a little hard to describe. I've never been on red clay, so I can't provide a comparison to that, but it almost feels like a very thin layer of gravel. What's cool about this showcase court is that you're right next to an actual practice court. So at one point I was having lunch and I was watching some kids play on the showcase court while next to Peyton Stearns warming up on the practice court next to it. From here, we moved on to Althea Gibson to watch another match. This time we decided to sit behind the baseline, which is our preferred spot to watch. At this point during the day, we had to get another hat. One for the souvenir aspect, but also because of the sun in Charleston. All right, so we're here at the official merchandising tent. Got to get a hat at every tournament. Decided to go with this orange cap with the Credit One Charleston Open logo. I'd say it's a pretty solid hat. Probably give it maybe a 7 out of 10.
Why 7 out of 10?
I think it's very clean, very good looking. But you know, there's nothing that is super extraordinary about it. It's not something that pops out, if you will. But yeah, I thought this was the best fitting hat, best looking hat. Yeah, 7 out of 10. In terms of merchandise, there is also a branding partnership that the tournament does with Southern Tide, similar to how the US Open has a partnership with Polo Ralph Lauren. So Southern Tide does have a tent on site offering some branded merch as well. All right, so we're here in the stadium court, having a good time so far. I've got a little ladybug friend wishing me good luck. Thoughts on the tournament so far? I think the green clay is really, really interesting. It's like what they describe on the internet. It's not necessarily full-on red clay. It's almost a mix between hard court and green clay in that they don't slide as much as they do. But the ball does seem a little slower than, say, a hard court, a more fast-paced hard court surface. So we mentioned the electric line calling and how it's new to a clay tournament in general, and it's being introduced here for the first time. At the end of the day, it's all about fairness, but people at, say, Roland Garros would argue that the clay has a little bit of a cultural significance. I wonder what the players think. When we got home, we did get some opinions about electronic line calling from one of the players. This player did not participate at the tournament, but still interesting to hear nonetheless. One initial thought about the seats. So these first couple rows in the 300 section are reserve seating. They do come with these mesh bags, but they're rather shallow, so you don't get full bag support. That's one minor con of the seats up here. All right, so some quick post-match thoughts. We just watched Caroline Dolehide and Madison Keys. Late in the second set, I feel like Madison Keys had about, I kid you not, maybe a dozen match points, but ended up going to a tiebreak. Madison Keys ended up winning the tiebreak, showing us why she's a Grand Slam champion. All right, so we just wrapped up our first day here at the Charleston Open. Some quick post-match thoughts. Campus is rather cozy, so you can really get around really quickly, which means you can get to the outer courts really quickly. You can get here to the stadium really quickly. And especially with the outer courts, you can be really, really close to the players and to the action. It is South Carolina. It does get rather hot during the day, but it does get cold during the night, in my opinion anyways. So do remember to bring a sweater. It does get a little chilly at night. And last but not least, don't forget to bring a Sharpie. The tournament organizes a bunch of these autograph sessions, and it's really, really easy to get up to the players, get up close to them, even take a picture with them. We got a couple of signatures today, key one being Madison Keys, which was really, really cool. Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow for more. So, what are our post-tournament thoughts? First, this tournament is severely underrated. For about $30 to $50 per session, we were able to see some really great tennis from some of the best players in the world, and most of the time, we got to see them up close, and I mean real close. At one point, we were even sitting directly behind Ajla Tomljanovic's coach, and were able to hear the back and forth between the two. The tournament also never felt overwhelmingly crowded. Maybe it's because we were there on weekdays, but it felt like a very lively and active crowd without being too overbearing. For us, it was super simple to get to Charleston. Flights were rather cheap coming in from New York, and there were many non-stop options into Charleston International Airport. Charleston as a city too is very charming, and of course has some excellent weather and some great food throughout the city. You aren't allowed to bring a reusable water bottle in, but you can bring in a sealed plastic bottle. If you forget, a water bottle can be purchased for $6 to $7, so quite pricey. And water filling stations were only available at the main station. So if you're at Althea Gibson, you have to cross the entirety of campus to refill your water bottle. We mentioned earlier the reserve seating in the 300 level does not have great back support. Maybe this is a you get what you paid for moment, but I think the seat itself can be improved. And if back support is important to you, I would consider sitting in the 200 level. There's also a new option in 2025 called the Coastline Lounge. They did look like comfortable seats with prime views, but were a bit costly at what I remember to be $400 per seat. And you have to buy the whole table, so it could run your group $1,600 in total. Mobile chargers are there available to rent, but I always prefer to bring my own. Food is of course available for purchase, but like most sporting events, it can be quite pricey. We made a reel about our review of the different foods we ate. Check it out on our Instagram and YouTube. You can use rideshare to get to the tournament. Do expect maybe a 30-minute drive from downtown Charleston to Daniel Island. Parking is available, but not necessarily close to the stadium grounds. A shuttle is available at these parking lots to bring people to and from the stadium. We used Airbnb for this trip, but obviously hotels are an option. There are hotels on Daniel Island itself, but when we checked, the pricing for those hotels were significantly higher than the off-tournament pricing, so do keep that in mind. They do have a mobile app available to download, keeping you informed of the schedule of events and the match play throughout the day. Lastly, wear a sunscreen and bring a hat. Do not be like me and think you are stronger than the sun. You will get burnt. Take it from my dermatologist, take it from the professionals on the court. The sun is your enemy, so please wear your sunscreen and bring a hat. Overall, we had such a great time at the Charleston Open. We definitely recommend going. It's a relatively easy and affordable tournament to get to, and the uniqueness of the green clay makes this a destination tournament for any tennis nerd. Did we miss anything? Drop your questions down below and we'll do our best to answer them. We'll also include our full detailed guide down in the description below. This is Teddy signing off. Until next time, cheers.